I'm on a Tuesday night, going very dark now. Now, in the next 2 years, we're going to be asked whether, well, it's a big question, isn't it? We think Britain should remain in the EU. And today, that referendum took a step closer. The Prime Minister, David Cameron, set out the changes he wants in the UK's membership of the European Union. Now, they include restricting EU migrants' access to in-work benefits and also stopping the EU becoming what he called a club for countries in the single currency. Well, speaking with me from the European Parliament in Brussels earlier, Conservative MEP for the North West, Sajjad Karim. Sajj, first of all, thanks for joining us on the programme. Now, David Cameron has written this letter to the President of the European Council, Donald Tusk. What can you tell us about that letter and his proposals and demands for the future?
Well, it sets out in very clear terms, really, exactly what it is that the United Kingdom is seeking to achieve through the renegotiation process. Now, in very general terms, it is about making sure that we get a much better deal for the United Kingdom, but at the same time, it is also about making sure that the European Union as a whole does improve for the better as well. And that means for the better of all citizens, because ultimately we are in a union, and it means that what happens in one country does, in one way or another, affect people elsewhere.
Just how tough of a sell, then, is this going to be?
Well, it's going to be a fairly arduous negotiation process, I can tell you that. Certainly in the work that I've been involved in here over the last 24 months, there has been a clear direction of travel in terms of reform. Some of the reforms that the Prime Minister's looking for, we have tried to introduce in a variety of ways. We've been successful on certain things and not so successful on others. So it really is a case of once again getting our negotiating partners, the other member states, around the table with us to revisit those areas where we haven't been so successful over the last 24 months, with a view to seeing if we can make progress now. I sincerely hope we can. In fact, I'm sure we can.
But, it's almost a job for Tom Cruise, isn't it? He's been quoted as saying to get all 27 leaders to agree on the demands set is not mission impossible, but surely it's not going to be an easy ride, this, is it?
No, but equally, nobody has ever claimed that it is going to be an easy ride. Certainly anybody who has any real operative knowledge of how the European Union works knows how difficult a job there is ahead for the Prime Minister and the entirety of the negotiating teams that are going to be involved from all sides. And therefore, it really does ultimately come down to one thing. Do we want to increase the efficiency of the European Union? And do we want the United Kingdom to remain a member of the European Union? And if that political will remains, then people will invest the political capital to make this happen.
But he's also, he's almost singing the okey-cokey, isn't he? He's got to strike a tricky old balance here, hasn't he? The demands need to satisfy his own MPs, we know that, but equally, to be realistic enough to pass through. How's he going to do all this? He's almost in two camps, isn't he?
Well, I don't think the Prime Minister has in any way tried to keep from the people of the United Kingdom how difficult a task this is. And this, in terms of his premiership, this really is going to be a clear demonstration of the political skills that he as an individual has.
You are part and parcel of the Europe machine, aren't you? You are an MEP, Conservative MEP for Lancashire. So what are your personal views? You are there in the centre of the operation. Does it work? Would it work in the future? Would this work with the proposals from David Cameron?
Well, we have to make it work. And this is where it comes down to one very simple thing. Is Europe stronger in the world if we stand united on the things that we can stand united on? And the answer is a very clear yes.